Bit of shenanigans with the 20 client. I'll bring up the bands on screen in just a sec. Lerio's Northern Realms is banned, Takikiraly's Monsters is banned, and as you can see, to begin with here, it will be Lerio and Red Coin with the Consume Monsters, up against Takikiraly's Nilfgaard Shupe. Okay, so there's a Tall Punishing in Vulgar Forts, and a weird control card in Shupe. We'll see what the Shupe is able to do here. Otherwise, you've got to worry about the Armored Cavalry lock, potentially a Collar from Rodeo, and I don't think there's that many damage tactics here. Maybe Joust can try and kill something. As I mentioned, Takikiraly's Monsters is banned, and Lerio's Northern Realms is... Okay. Salty was meant to be casting with me here, but sadly there was a storm, and his power got cut off, so if it comes back, Salty might be able to rejoin me, but until then, you'll be stuck with little or me. And it does mean I need to make sure everything is working fine OBS-wise with the delay. We are now going to see how hard Takikiraly can fight for the round one. I think you need to win round one here for Takikiraly and get a bleed going. If you get shot into a long round, honestly against any of Lerio's lists, particularly sort of in this matchup, I don't see it ending well. You're not able to make use of your flexible resilience from your locations. You won't have enough control to deal with the important threats that Lerio will be bringing out. You already see that here with the Slicer just being on board, consuming this Fruits of Iskith each turn. Fruits is gonna proc Thrive each turn. It means that you're basically just getting 2 points per turn. But that Joust doesn't help Takikiraly stay in this. Yeah, that Riptide shut out not necessarily a super scary engine, but just means that the rest of these engines aren't getting much done without flanking. It's looking rough. Yeah, you can get okay, this Obsidian Mirror is kinda cute. I don't think it's gonna help that much. You get a Thrive unit that slides it in, it's just a tempo pass. It's just a tempo pass. How do you catch up here? This Light Cavalry is capped at 4 damage because the Riptides, the last played unit, are only at 4 power. This Crossbowman isn't looking that great either. There's one unit in the graveyard. You can get a bit of illusions value with your Sliced perhaps here. But you need to do 25 points. And it's a loss uneven. The reason I'm just so bewildered here is I do not see a path to victory here for Takikiraly. This is probably not a deck that would like to bleed here for Lerio. But if you have the chance, you can just go for it. Like, there's no downside. It's a 10 card round. It's as long as you're getting, unless you're missing key pieces, you can just go for it. And hey, worst case scenario, you just develop giant toads here on the bleed. Like, that's the worst case scenario. So it's got to be a pretty good spot to be in. And even if you don't want to go for consumes, you just have a Theo here, which again works on transforming the fruits. So each turn, this leader is just spawning a body, which you turn into way more points. Not a bad roll here. Gets the crossbowman. Issue is, what does potentially 2 damage per turn do against 5 points per turn? I just want to mention, there is no Purify in deck here. So these locks for Takikiraly are important. I don't think there'll be enough to stand up here. It's okay, it's not all over yet. I may have been forgetting about the locks, but there's no locks in hand. The Qualifier wasn't even played round 1. So you have to go Shupe lock here, I think. You had the Rune Mage to guarantee the lock now. That's why you played the Rune Mage first. But in doing so, you do end up giving up like 4 more points by letting the Ethereal get an extra transform. Now the question is, what do you decide to play here? Do you keep pushing? I mean, from what we can see, this is the time to keep pushing. There are no more locks. So, you could just go 2-0 here. If we play into this round 2, it will be a 2-0. And I believe once you're able to see that everything just gets set up, then there's no reason not to keep pushing. Takikiraly staying ahead here. I wouldn't have actually minded giving the lead over Lerio, offering a pass. But no. Instead, you're gonna have to Ramon. You're going to have to try to out-engine this. Which, look, these aren't bad engines.
We conquered Gesso. Skama no better.
But they just don't scale nearly as well. The Ruehin is essentially 4 points per turn if it gets consumed each turn. I guess the saving grace here for Takikiraly is there are no Slizzards. There are no ways to get that extra value out of the Ruehin. So this might actually be enough. You're dealing this 4 damage per turn, you're staying ahead here. You'll have decent short round value with all the golds you're drawing. Yeah, okay. It might just do it. Going into round 3, here's the Slizzard. Look, there's still Golden Egg, which can establish multiple engines at once. And it's a 7-card round, so decently long. This is why we saw the pass from Lerio already. Because you'd much rather have a 7-card round where you can try to do engine-y things and keep pushing in a round where you actually didn't have that follow-up if you were to play the Ruehin. So I'm actually a bit surprised that we saw this She-Shore getting played as a result. But maybe saying that that's not important, I can see if I get anything important out, or decided to just set up those giant toads as well. Now we'll have the Golden Necker as well as the Last Wish here in hand for Lerio. Should be able to find a lot of the key things remaining in deck. You also want to bleed to set up the Necromancer's Tome, I should say. Yeah, you want the bronze bodies in graveyard. Because then this Barbagazi, this Slizer, this Round Warrior, they'll all come back when you play additional copies of those bronzes. Yeah, there's the Ale of the Ancestors. I should also... Yes. The fact that Shupe is gone means Necromancer's Tome actually sticks. Because Shupe is the only way to remove artifacts. There is no heat wave here. So with that gone, Tome does stick, it will get a lot of value. Where we're at to start with, again, 2-point per turn engine with this leader. And the fact it can set up rats is quite nice because it turns this Plague Maiden into a scary, scary poison giver. What's the route here? You can get an Illusionist from the Mushy Truffle copy. I don't know. Something with Death Wish. I don't think it matters awfully much. War Council finds a lock. It looks like we're going to lock the Were-Rat here, deciding this is the most scary unit remaining. Okay. Could see it being either the Were-Rat or maybe the Ruehin. Denying the ability to spawn more rats, spawn more tokens is potentially quite nice. Ooh, unlucky finding the Lusty already, but then again, you would have had to pull it from the mat. I'm not sure if there are other golds that would have been guaranteed. We see the Decree. The Decree is nice. It layers this Barbagazi after the turn. So now they both come back. That's 4 consumes sitting on board here for Lerio. Yeah, Mata would have found the Glusty, so very unlucky pull for that to be the unit coming out. And again, I don't know if there are that many ways to get 1-drops through, apart from through the Plague Maiden. So, not the worst, since this is where I ended up getting locked. More Slizzards, all playing on the front row here. Leaving space on the back row, I believe, for the Plague Maiden to get eaten, as well as the Matter. And yes, with no rats on board, there's no reason not to eat this Plague Maiden.
To feel there is nothing.
Here's the collar, second lock, holds on to it, probably saving it for the Ruehin. So it is the Vran Warrior found. I was going to say, you really want to get the Vran Warrior from this matter. Because now it turns every consume into a +2 points on these Vran Warriors. Matt is going to, well, pull either this Endrega Eggs or the Endrega Warriors. Much rather the Endrega Eggs here. Or if you don't want to do that, you don't want to lengthen the round here, you can just play a front row. But I think it will pay to lengthen for Lerio. Get more engine time.
Reality is that which so you believe it no more does not go away.
Plague Maiden comes out, immediately eaten by the giant toad. And then eats that body by with the Barbagazi.
Travel makes one modest. Lets one see the bigger picture.
Not sure if that's somehow playing around with Vilgefortz. This is the last turn to play Mata if you want to play her back row. It looks like these rats are just all being set up so that Lerio will be able to consume Ruehin as much as possible in one turn, which is what we see here. Because you need those extra bodies. If you just had the Gurney Fruit as the only sort of low power unit, you would have ended up eating your own consume engines, going way too tall and playing into the Builder Forts. But yeah, each consume getting so many points. And it's, yeah. Look, difficult to catch up here for Takikiraly. And the Vilgefortz might even just pull the Endrega Eggs, which is which will end up getting eaten by the Ruehin. Well, okay. Well, it gets locked, so it won't matter as much if you end up pulling the Imdraga eggs. It is just the Imdraga warrior. It doesn't even use the leaders, doesn't use the War Council, knows that it's not going to be enough points, even with this matter being played front row. So game 1 going to Lerio. This is more points left, but it is still blue coin, blue deck. Red coin going to be hidden cache. I want to see this deck in action. I'm so excited. I want to see the pyramid scheme coming through. Luckily we do see a Siege Master in hand to begin with for Takikiraly. Gonna be able to bring that out with either Siege Tower or the Carrick Frigate. One Redanian Secret Service in hand, not ideal, but you can put to the bottom of the deck with the Curse Scroll anyways. Doesn't really play as that badly of a downside. How is Lerio looking here for engines? Okay, was the Roach kept in hand intentionally or not? Decent pulls here. It's going to be the ISS Companions found. You want to play this as early as possible to boost as many cards in the deck as you can. No IS in hand, so not going to be able to act as a hand fixer here as well. White Maggot was saying in chat that in the previous qualifier there was Anna Stranger in this list Takikiraly was playing. That was the second inspired unit I forgot in the deck discussion. However, that was cut due to the Renfree provision nerf. Notably for Lerio here, there is not great ways to deal damage for Takikiraly. So Sausage Maker will force out either Arnsace or Unicorn Kyrenex combo. And well, both Unicorn and Kyrenex are suspiciously missing right now from Takikiraly's hand. Which is, yeah, those are the cards you need to draw early.
Smell of seagull shit.
And the second Treasure Huntress. I'm surprised to see both of them being committed at once. And you can bring them back using the Necromancy later. Like right now it's essentially just a glorified Prophet 3. Which feels strange for a card which is... So I look as the build around of this deck. You see the first leader committed here for Takikiraly, bringing out the Dawn Banners, getting thinning, going even more. Already thinning by 3. And you'll be thinning by 2 more straight away as this Siege Tower gets played. There's the Sea Jackal. Spends once, then Treasure Huntress click. Would have over-profited without the Sea Jackal spent, so I guess that's the reasoning. Look, you're only clicking the Treasure Huntress once per turn, so it doesn't really matter if you spend on the Sea Jackal or not, if you have 9 coins or 8 coins at the start of the round. Takikiraly respects the threat of the spender, saying that you can do your shenanigans, but if you can't spend, then you can't get that many points. And we'll see how important round control ends up being. Lerio might have to commit Townsfolk and Igor to win the round. So without a spender, like Igor's really the only spender remaining. You can technically spend on the Sausage Maker 3 coins for nothing in return if you already have resilience. That doesn't feel great. One, two, three, 4 coins per turn. Back to a full coin bank. And that's 4 points per turn on the townsfolk, provided you're able to spend. And right now, you're only able to really spend 3 per turn here for Lerio, which is a surprising problem that you have more coins than you could ask for in this deck. And yeah, with no Tor Punish, you can just stack as many infusions as you like in the Townsfolk. It's going to be pretty safe. As I mentioned, you see this Eagle getting committed. I don't think you can give up the round as Lerio. You need to win the round. You need to just get the dry pass in round 2 to lengthen round 3 as much as possible. At least I believe that's what you need to do here. I could be mistaken, but I think that's what you need to do. And here now, Takikiraly is potentially looking at losing on even because of all these infusions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 townsfolk, 10 points per turn. That's really just achieved through bronzes, just about.
Tomorrow shall bring a better day.
You see the Meve committed. The cooldown gets lowered to 2, played next to the Ancestors, which means it will proc next turn. Quite a wide board as well, so that will be a lot of boosts coming through. And it might be Takikiraly trying to get out here, so wanting to get ahead, to get a pass. Can Takikiraly win passing round 1 here? Can they contest the round 1 either? Those are the questions we'll see an answer to very soon. And here comes a sausage maker. We see an infusion coming through onto it once. Do we see another townsfolk? I assume so. No, decides to get the resilience through. Uses the insanity on the Igor instead. You can still use the Fee on Igor the next turn since resilience is already established. And yes. So full coin bake means that on the pass here there isn't getting any more townsfolk value. Look at this townsfolk already to 10. It's insanity. So it will be a pass here for Takikiraly. And I think you just have to take that pass. Because you have 8 coins spent per turn here. And Lerio's just looking very fine to really keep that up. Takikiraly playing this further. Could have actually even been... Could we have gone Philippa to steal the Meve? I'm not sure if there was 8 coins that turn. I don't think there was. That could have been funny. Now the question is, you just play Roach from hand and try to preserve the Philip? But I think you'd much rather just spend the coins on the other things. Getting another Townsfolk, getting another infusion, stacking the infusions on the Sausage Maker, because this is a card which will stay in the future. We see the Roach going away. I think that's 8 points, 8 coins per turn times 4. That's 32 points per turn. I'm not convinced that was great for Takikiraly to play into. I do not think there was a way to contest that round. But hey, maybe playing one more card. No, realistically, you had a pass. They would have had to play another card anyways to catch up. So that was a mistake, I think, regardless. Yeah, just lose on even for no reason. And that was with Lerio playing Roach. like, that's without playing a card that actually does something from hand. It still was a pass coming out from Takikiraly. It's actually a bleed here. Okay, it looks like Lerio wants to maximize the value on this sausage maker and prey on Takikiraly whilst the Coen isn't set up, whilst the Roche isn't set up. I don't mind this in this sort of matchup. I think this could work quite well. And we see Unicorn Kyrenex are both missing, which means that if Takikiraly wants to answer the sausage maker, it would have to come from the Renfree, getting a high roll on the leader choice. Goldenecker comes through straight away, Townsfolk with the candle, and what is the decree going to pull? Soul is the best in terms of engine potential. And we see, okay, just protecting the sausage maker as much as possible. I think that makes sense then in this matchup. That if it's out of range of the Renfree and Unicorn Kyrenex, that's it. That's game. Townsfolk and Soul both boosting each turn. Looks like we'll... Yeah. Okay. The formation list to start with here. I think this probably has the best matchup into Self-Wound. And yeah, we'll see if Takikiraly will be able to get a pointer onto the board. Yeah, this hand is not great for me. You can tell that, because it's an Elder Bear to begin with. These abordages are going to have a bit of a tough time getting set up into potentially a bunch of armor. And yeah, not many ways to actually deal damage here.
What are they?
I don't know. The villain isn't a playable card here either. Really would have wanted a Drakar to try to force out a lock, absorb some damage from these bronze soldiers. Actually make these Demon Corsairs do something. But instead it's going to be, okay, you can just commit one leader, and with only one armor, this will be enough to get the first abordage through. Okay, Demon Corsair. Okay, gets the raiding fleet. This will enable Drakars to come through. Also potentially get some extra bloodthirst. And stop any further leader commitments, but...
The Emperor shall be proud of his sons.
You can frankly just play the raiding fleet here. I don't even think you click the Demon Pirate this turn. Because this armor's... Oh no, the armor will come back anyways. Yeah, no, this armor's gonna get popped by the light cavalry, and there's not really much Takikiraly can do to stop that. Unless you play a unit on the other side, and then switcheroo with the leader, but then you're kind of telegraphing you need an extra leader commitment this round. The way that I often look at the Self-Wound matchup is that it doesn't necessarily matter as much about round control with certain decks. No, this is only with certain decks. It matters a lot more that you match your removals onto their big threats. Match your answers to their threats. But if you're able to get round control with low commitment, you may as well go for it. The issue is that there aren't really golds that Takikiraly can just commit to really stay in this. And I'm not sure the bronzes will be sufficient if we play into this a lot further.
He's ever tried swimming in armor?
Abordages do a nice job just getting a little bit of extra points. We see a bit of this armor getting removed. But downside is it's actually really good obsidian mirror. And that is the lead maintained here by Takikiraly. His bleeding is outpaced by the damage from the light cavalry regardless. You do see the Draco total committed. This is the first gold coming out from Lerio, and you want to try to get these golds out, arguably more than round control here. Although you maybe would like the round control to not play into the Spell Blood if possible.
I shall not repeat mistakes.
We do finally see the Qualifier here. Unfortunate for the light cavalry to now be hitting this Draco turtle. This is not a fun hand for Lerio, and yeah, this just gets the pass. I guess the good thing is that if the Draco turtle is still the last card played, the light cav just keeps hitting the Draco turtle, turning what would have been damage into actual points. It's light cav is basically an engine for Lerio right now. You could turn it off by clicking a Demon Corsair. I think that actually would be by far the correct play, quite heads up as well. And Bruja is enough to get ahead here. Let us see how this bleed will go. I expect a bleed to come through. And yeah, the bleed serves two purposes. The first is to shorten a round 3 against Spellblood. Or essentially split up the round 2 and round 3, so instead of having one super long round, which Spellblood is quite happy with, you are able to minimize the Spellblood value a little bit. And the second goal is to force out threats, like the Canute, like the Sigvald, like the Olgierd. In particular, there's Fabian, which is bricked right now, remaining in deck, as well as a Totem and a Sove. This villain is quite sketchy. And you would love to get the Totem on board to enable these Drakars to get plopped each turn. We will see when that gets played. Of note is that this Shupe is in hand, but Rune Mage is not. So there are too many 10 provision cards for Takikiraly here, and it's actually just okay, not going for a bleed. Not bleeding. Okay. Control played, sure. Importantly in this matchup is Shupe can remove artifacts, and Controlled is an artifact, in particular a very pivotal artifact that you'd like to get rid of. I think what you can just do here is that due to a lack of Purify here for Lerio, you can just use Shupe to remove the artifact, use your locks onto the Canute, and then the only way to really get the Canute unlocked is to kill it and bring it back with Sigdrifa's Right. And then if the location and Canute are gone, suddenly stuff like this Sigvald, stuff like this Olgierd are not nearly as scary. And then once all that has been dealt with, the question is really just how do you minimize the Spellblood value? And the squirrel is found, which locks the Sove into pulling Elder Bear. And Squirrel essentially plays for no points if it's played before the Svalbard. Yeah. Totem to begin with. I believe just to get the Draco Turtle. Not Draco Turtle. The Dracar set up as soon as possible. What do we have here for Takikiraly? We have 3 locks. We have one from Romon, one from the Cavalry, one from the Rodeo, and a Tall Punish in the Vilgeforts. That's sort of 4 answers to units that are going to be coming through. Interesting, you basically prefer locking units rather than Vilgefortsing them early in the round here. Because there's no Purify and Vilgeforts just enables a chance for Sigdrufus Riot to pull the units right back. Yeah, and it is going to be Ruffle first, actually. Okay. No rush on the Shupe here. Dracar is a very nice pull from this Illusionist. But I'm not sure why you boost the Illusionist and not the Dracar here. It's not like I guess because then the Dracar becomes a more tempting target for the location. You'd rather the boosted Illusionist get killed than this Dracar. But at the same time, leaving the Dracar damaged enables the Bloodthirst on Lerio's own Dracar. We see one leader coming out.
A moment.
All good. Not going to be the clash coming through just yet. Decides to hold it.
My prescription, a bit of blood.
Remedy for another Dracar. No, for a Corsair. Okay. So rather than trying to minimize the Svalbard value by going 2 Drakars, aims to get their own engine set up. I think that makes decent sense. Pretty nice synergy between that Illusionist and Remedy. Love to see it. Of note, what is this War Council pulling? It can pull a Dwim Viandra, Marine, Albert Pac-Man, those are the options. A back row Albert Pac-Man isn't bad, or even front row. Because once it has excess charges, it just turns into armor, which is pretty sweet. You can also just start bleeding down the Svalbard bears to put a bit of a timer on when they'll be able to be flipped and when Lerio will be forced to play the Svalbard. I don't mind that. I think it could be very well a good idea to just play this War Council earlier rather than later if that's the idea you want to go for. Hey, when like these bigger threats aren't necessarily been playing just yet. Okay, here's the Draco Turtle. Still holding onto the location. This is super interesting. Often you want to just click the location to force out because you're scared of the Shupe artifact removal, but in this case, maybe it's because the Rune Mage hasn't been played yet. Lerio feels fine holding it for later, trying to scope out any extra value. But in doing so, it means that you lose any synergy you would have had with this Draco Turtle. Because it gets locked, and there's lock number 1 out of 3 used up. Hey, Rune Mage could also get a lock technically, so maybe it's more like 3.1 potential locks. That's the expected number of locks.
Flows in your veins.
The Canute gets rid of the Dracar. I think that's important. You don't expect the Canute to live for more than one time. I think it's arguably more correct just to hold the Canute here. Like, there's no need to damage it prematurely. It'll get its berserk condition satisfied anyways after the Svalbard gets played. At which point you'll be able to threaten with the 2 threats at once. But it has to try to set it up, but we'll see if these extra locks are going to be able to come through. They do. Yeah. Look, maybe you just want to threaten, hey, if you don't lock this right now, I will use my Canute next turn and get extra value. So you just need to deal with it now. And here's the problem that playing your leader there, I'm not sure what the point is. It allows Takikiraly to boost them back up, and now you don't have any Bloodthirst. I guess the point... No, you weren't even clicking the Drakar that turn. Yeah, I'm not sure what that leader achieved. Here comes the villain, finds the Vabjorn. Rip. But... I mean, that was always gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, I'm not sure what happened in the mulligans. How did you end up with both Squirrel and Willem in hand? Like, I think the Elder Bear got mulliganed. But I don't know about the rest. Okay, ooh, Nausicaa's a very good pick here. You also go Magni if you so choose. You do have the War Council still to be played, I believe. Yeah, it just goes for the Nausicaa. 3 power Nausicaa. Will that make the difference here? Will Balance Council dash the dreams of Takikiraly? We'll see. Okay, so when do you go for the Svalbard here? Can you use the Svalbard to set up a serve to kill the Elder Bear? The Roommate is finally played, so Shupe is guaranteed to find whatever it likes, whether that is artifact removal or something else. It is going to be the Svalbard doing 4 damage to everything. This is going to set up a good bit of Bloodthirst. You'd expect this Svalbard to probably get locked. Yeah, you can probably just lock the Svalbard, Vilgefortz, the Sigvald. And then... And how does this serve go through? You'd have to use the artifact to do it. You'd have to click the clash, but if Takikiraly goes with the Shupe here, the serve would be ruined. Although, to be fair, right now, Takikiraly doesn't know whether there is only the Elder Bear in deck, or where the Squirrel is. You could have also clicked the Truffle here to try to get rid of some Bloodthirst, but well, I mean, that would have... Yeah, you could have tried to shut down the Squirrel, I think. And then you can just lock the Svalbard next turn. I don't think there was any way... I don't think any card remaining for Lerio would be enough to deal 8 damage, since you've already removed that clash. Like, definitely has the Bloodthirst too by now. And then now the nice thing by playing the Sigvald this turn means that unless Bloodthirst is denied, which, okay, maybe Takikiraly was trying to, yeah, greed points on this infusion, sure. You can use this totem to turn the Sigvald into 2 damage essentially, which almost do the trick. Yeah, just gonna be doing to get another truffle. A lot of value on this Deafening Siren. That is 3 infusions, by the way, so that's really 12 points of this froth. And gets rid of a little bit of more Bloodthirst with this leader. So yeah, doing a very good job of playing around this Sove. Only would be barely able to kill a Skrull at this point if it came from Sove, but yeah, that's not even an option. And if you play the Skrull here, then well, Takikiraly knows it's only the Elder Bear remaining in deck and can definitely stop the Sove from doing anything it would like to here. Plays the Skrull. And it's just a 10-point Sove to finish, it looks like. This is looking very good for Takikiraly, not even going to need to really block from the Redea. Yeah, decides not to do so. And just go for a tactical advantage, deny some more Bloodthirst. And yeah, no damage units on board now. Cute little finish getting the Sigvald value by clicking that Drakkar, but Spellblood was basically dead on board after being played because it wasn't achieving anything with no more ways steal damage, and with the armor, didn't matter taking a long run against Spellblood, had all the answers and did a very good job at matching those answers at the right time. And yeah, we'll see that whoever wins this game will get to go and play against the winner of Myeongwon TGX. That series will be coming up right after the current one ends. And after the semi-finals are through, we'll have a action-packed finals with 2 of the best players in the world. We'll get there. Instead, it is going to be the Lerio Self-Wound on red and Uprising Northern Realms on blue. Figured you guys might like a bit more light as well here. Okay. We do see this Redeeming Secret Service in hand. I wouldn't be surprised to see it being kept with the Cursed Scroll again. And having that put to the bottom of the deck. We do see Iris's companions and Iris herself both missing from Takikiraly's hand. Pyronex is not here either, nor is the Siege Master. A lot of things that Takikiraly probably would have liked to have. I think it makes sense to play the Carrack Frigate round 1 rather than round 2, round 3. Round 1 is where we are least likely to see Svarblood coming through. And the Svarblood is very good against Carrack Frigate. But we have a bit of boat v boat action here. Which boat do you guys think is the best? Armored Drakkar or Carrack Frigate? Right now this Carrack Frigate has a great crew manning it, getting a volunteer each turn. And I like how we see the leader used here, setting up the abordage, also clogging this back row a bit to lower the ceiling on this Carrack Frigate. Thinking a bit on what unit to damage, decides to get rid of the boosted unit, make it damaged instead.
Sailed into troubled waters, mate.
Here comes the crew for this good
I'll
one
let
now.
you whether you like it or
Demon
not.
Corsair, and man the riggings. Early Snowdrop finds a priestess, that's what you like to see. But, yeah, I probably would have liked, you know, that mentor, the unicorn, Iris's shade, something like that. Instead, it's gonna just be the curse scroll after the Snowdrop. Gets a little bit of extra points with an extra draw with the Snowdrop sitting on board already. But I don't think the Snowdrop's doing awfully much else here. Because, you know, there's nothing else to draw in hand, and the leader is not pincer maneuver. Martyr, I'm going to make use of the Drafal armor on the turn that Demon Corsair is not doing very much. There's going to be Iris's companions, getting the Iris Shade down. Okay, that is one draw, sorry. I slightly misspoke, but no more draws gonna be available. And now's the totem. But no access to Svalbard unless we're gonna hire a villain, which would be a decision and a half. Not one I would take personally. Yeah, Svalbard can do a pretty good job at just, like, you know, damaging the entire enemy's board, and in this case that results in a way weaker Coen than would otherwise be achieved.
Valyria and Rivia! For the north!
And since the Y board has a chance to actually stick here, it's going to be the Queen Meve. But... okay, so if Svalbard gets played here, it gets answered by the Unsays, but it would get quite a bit of value just if it were to get played. Of course, this is all almost just moot, because unless let's play with a high roll, we're not seeing the blob. But Takikiraly doesn't know that. That's why you still want to kind of think about what the players will be thinking.
Valyria and Rivia!
Knut gets played. Nice answer for the Queen Meve, but here comes the Anses. It is nice now, at least Anses is gone, although that does mean the Knut is no longer available. So, again, it's... yeah, you could have played the Olgid Immortal to double up on the Knut value there anyways. That would have been fine. So, yeah. Now the question is, what can you commit to take round control? Would you commit Sigdrifa's right if it secures you round control here for Lerio? If you do, that means you don't have Canute anymore this game. You can't bring it back later. I think playing the Draco Turtle now is a good sort of
Do not look now.
middle bit between not being as slow as, say, Terra Crew Plunderer, but not as hard of a commitment as getting that Canute out. The graveyard. Here comes the Reigning Secret Service. Not secret anymore. And yeah, Terra Crew Plunderer finally getting a chance to get her own plunder, since it is an off turn for the Demon Corsair. And now it's her own freeze gain coming through. If there was a spellboard here for Lerio in hand, I think you just snap it in an instant. Get an easy win on even. I don't see any two ways about it. And look, you can YOLO the villain. You have... actually, no, you really shouldn't. The raiding fleet is super slow here. The Vabjorn has no bronze pirate in hand. Oh god.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay. That could have gone worse. That's probably sort of best case scenario. It's not like there's really huge things you need to answer at once in this matchup. Well, it would have maybe been nice to have this later on for the Istrid. But it'll still manage to do the trick by getting a lot of value on this Draco Totem.
Damn it all.
Oh yeah, Takikiraly's board is clogged, so that's the round ended. And the question is, how much do we need to commit here? Just the Olgid, don't need to commit the location since this War Crier will get ahead. Maybe too many clicks on the Barrack Frigate. Could have been a nice chance to get Renfrey through otherwise. Again, I wonder if Lerio would have just committed a leader charge to get that clog through and force an early end to that round one. Okay, here comes a Siege Master. Is found, but there's only one siege engine remaining in deck in the form of that siege tower, and it's not found. Awkward hand. Potentially for both players, frankly. Yeah, Squirrel's not doing very much here. Abordage isn't doing very much here. I think Lerio has to bleed to try to get some value out of this location, but I don't even know what you play in doing so. This is just cursed on both sides. These hands are terrible. We have... Let's run through it. Bricked Kyrenex, Bricked Siege Master, Premature Vernon Roach, Bricked Abordage, Short Round Sigvald, Raiding Fleet proactively. Look, it's not as bad brick cards for Lerio, but then again, Takikiraly at least has one extra card, and maybe something from Renfrey could try to smooth things over here. It actually is just a dry pass here for Lerio, which allows Takikiraly to freely play the Renfrey. Choice of boost, choice of player bronze, draw one for 6 damage. I don't think you can actually afford to take the Curse of Sloth with this deck because your thinning is perfectly tuned to play everything regardless. And you go for the 6 damage anyways. It means Canute can't just be brought back all willy-nilly. Also gives an answer to the Spellblood. Kindness, Charity, or Humility. Probably goes Kindness, yes. So we will be watch the odd even powers on Takikiraly's side of the board. See if they're going to maximize the micro value from that. Okay. Siege Tower drawn, finally. Copy number 2 is found. And then the Coen goes back. He's just drawn, okay. So, potentially a little greedy on the mulligans, trying to find Unicorn and Istrid, but luckily, this might have been the Redeeming Secret Service Curse Scroll. I don't know if this was the one from Curse Scroll or not, though. Yes, it does come out. And it's nice having multiple bodies for the Coen, but actually Spellblood isn't as scary anymore since Totem is gone. It might be... yeah, this very well could be winnable for Takikiraly. Also, this Purify is pretty solid against the Raiding Fleet. Raiding Fleet just has to target the Secret Service. And yeah, the Drakkar isn't nearly as good here due to no Totem. Sigvald is... yeah, actually, no Totem. If you're not playing Ursine Ritual, you really need Totem to get your Self-Wound shenanigans to work. And not having Totem means that you can't set up Sigvald to 5 power. Sorry, you can't set up Canute to 5 power. You can't get continued damage on the Sigvald. You can't do much with your Spellblood. Oh gosh. I don't know how Lerio does anything in this round. And Squirrel's in hand again, which means Sove has to pull the bear. And you can't really kill a bear.
We didn't come here to build sandcastles.
Except with a resurrected Newt. Yeah, I have questions on how this round is going to go for Lerio. Yeah, everything I say is about Svalbard kind of hinges on Svalbard's totem being on board as well. And I don't think I've ever seen Lerio forfeit early in a game in a tournament. Although you very well could, I think, at this point. Might be too early to call, but when you're up against a deck that thins as much as this, they found, they found everything.
Don't ever expect your opponents to line up.
Well, actually, technically they hadn't at that point, but with the Istrid on board, with the Mentors, they should be able to get, the Unicorn Karanex all together. And this is the perfect deck state for Takikiraly.
The goddess protect you from all evil.
The big canoe, just big enough to kill off that Istrid. Nicely done. And yeah, maybe use the Svalbard to kill the Sov beast, but yeah. Sov is at its best when it actually has bloodthirsty damage on deploy. If it's not getting the deploy damage, and it requires you to actually sink damage into the beast it summons, it's a whole lot worse. And it struggles to actually get good value at this point, which I think we might just well see this round. And yeah, it was quite in time for the Unicorn Karanex Conduit to be found, since you see them being played here. Newt goes away. And it's a sad little Svalbard. Yeah.
Slay dragons, 'tis our nightly duty.
We have Priestess at 7 and another at 7. Yeah, Cohen's only at 3. I guess you can, maybe you do want to float the Sigvald so that Takikiraly isn't really able to just float the Priestess here. But you can use one Priestess to set up your board and then the other Priestess to get the Cohen to your desired power level. Yeah, there's a lot of units near 6 power. Don't know if you'll be able to get them up to 8, however. Actually, you could. You could get them all to 8. And there might even be an argument to stop clicking the Siege Tower if you're trying to get them at 8. Like, there is actually a world where you just purify this vitality here to try to get the Cohen at 8.
In every living thing.
But yes, and that is gonna be the game win for Takikiraly there. Lerio forfeits, says, I can't beat the Cohen. I know you have Cohen because you've thinned perfectly. And yeah, so it's not even like there's a chance the opponent has missed their cards. You know their deck, you know what's left. Yeah, you just answer a couple of the key threats and then the rest of the deck will crumble. But I think this Crimes list could have a bit of a tougher time dealing with these threats. We'll have to see. But at the same time, I'm not sure Lerio will have a great time dealing with Fallen Knights either. But if you can deal with the spawned units, then it doesn't really matter if the Fallen Knights stick. And without the Igor, I think the ceiling on this list is a lot smaller. And it's all to play for. Whoever wins this game gets to stay in this tournament, gets to proceed into the finals. Whoever loses the game, that's the end of the journey. Smaller share of the prize pool, smaller share of the crown points as well. And it's gonna be Elder Bear to lead with again. No car in hand, you need to wait for an opposing unit to play the raiding fleet. This is quite a nice raiding fleet on the Eternal Fire Disciple. It essentially just puts a timer on it. Alternatively, you could also just use a leader and then abordage Terror Crew Plunderer to get the kill if you so prefer. And we finally see this Vabion in hand round 1. Which means that it's not going to be Willem into Vabion this time. And it's not going to be a Vabion stuck in deck with all the raids already played. You see the sequencing is a bit different now, that you have to have a coin in bank to mercenary contract out the Fallen Knight, whereas when we were looking at this deck in the previous qualifier, Fallen Knight was still 5 provisions, mercenary contract would pull it out still with 0 coins.
Blood for foul blood! Gods of Ruehin, fair winds the day.
Okay, abordage on the Fallen Knight, able to preserve leader charges. The thing to keep in mind is that Lerio might be able to board clog depending on like how much spawning is done by Takikiraly in future rounds. You see the second Eternal Fire Disciple getting played, which, yeah, this very well might just get answered by the abordage offensive Terror Crew Plunderer. I would not be surprised. Okay, never mind, goes for the value on Drakkar instead. Oh no. Oh no. Probably wanted to draw something a bit more playable this round, rather than all the golds. Has to discard the villain. So yeah, so far in this series, I would not rate the villain out of the times we've seen it. It bricked with the Vabion in the first self-run game. It pulled the location randomly in a round 1 YOLO play in game 2, and it got discarded round 3. Okay. There is a pass for Lerio here. It's either that or make it quite a bit harder, because the thing with these golds is you can't just really play a gold for pure value. You need to play a gold with some follow-up or some synergy to get value. So yeah, you could slam Olgierd for 10, but you really need it to go with like a Canoe or something to really get value. That's why we do see the pass. It is round control now for Takikiraly, but this isn't the worst for Lerio. It means they'll be able to set up the self-winning Chaos Troll in the round 2. You can have those locations sitting on board. And again, Takikiraly's not too unhappy because Sausage Maker gets to go through, gets the free setup, and now you can threaten the click in the round 2 as well. It's not necessarily easy to deal with the Sausage Maker unless you commit either the Canoe or the Chaos Troll click. It's going to be Fallen Knight on the lead. No Hammerfire access right now for Takikiraly. Has to use Bank to find it. If they get lucky. It's going to be Chaos Troll for the Uncrate Longship, which is extremely impactful in this matchup because it will kill Cleaver on deploy unless it's dealt with. This forces out an early payday if Takikiraly wanted to try to get the cleaver through. Yeah. And, I'll also mention that if thank you to N Solitary for the gift sub, although this will be sort of 20 minutes delayed. And if you can do !crowdfund to help support the prize pool for the Community Masters at the end of the year. Matol has put a lot of time and effort and his own money in supporting these tournaments all throughout the year and doing a lot of work behind the scenes, so it's really great if we can sort of give back and support Matol in these endeavors. In particular, any of the sort of subs or gift subs from these tournament streams I'll be putting towards the prize pool as well. Yeah, returning to the game, we see Draco Turtle coming down. And give us a nice little bit of setup for getting this KO trolled leg through. Tunnel Drill able to clean up this. Oh gosh, this is scary. Tunnel Drill cleans up the Uncrate Longship without having to use the payday. And now that we have an 8 power Cleaver's Muscle, we can now Furco into this Damnation to get the Hemmelfart without needing to try and high roll bank and try to tutor it out. So this means that we will have a very scary round on our hands. Sigurd and Drago Turtle committed are quite big here. Looks like Lerio might be trying to get through this round without needing to commit Svarblood, but it's awkward because without the commute, you're not going to be able to just get guaranteed damage and get a kill onto one of these unless you, without using the control click. Yeah, now with the Hemmelfart, we'd be able to pull out a Fallen Knight and then potential spenders as well to give the Fallen Knights extra value. And yeah, now you can click the Resilience, and I don't think Lerio has the ability to really deal with this sausage maker right now. Instead, it's more so going to be dealing with the Fallen Knights or the Hemmelfart. But yeah, even though the Longship is gone now, it might still be able to get a value done. With these 4 power spenders, you'll be able to kill them off with the Spellblood next turn. I would like to see if Takikiraly would even spend on the Tunnel Drill to pop a Fnatic early to deny that opportunity. Could be a nice little play. Yeah, you could commit Cleaver here to keep it going and potentially throw in a 2-0. Alternatively, you can just play like this, and rather than just damage one to flip it, just kill one, flip the other. And yeah, minimize Svarblood value in this way, which means that, yeah, you'll be able to deal 2 damage to everything, which isn't nearly as scary, and this is what Syndicate can do well. When you have these spenders sitting on board, they're able to allow you to deal with multiple things at once, damage multiple units in one turn, where other decks stuck to really doing one thing per turn, play 1 card per turn, aren't really able to do nearly as well. And all this to say that Takikiraly still has Cleaver left, still has Hemmelfart left, still has Horse and Count Ruehin's Treasure for the double Intimidate proc. I think Lerio really has to get out of this round with Leader and Sove both intact. That's going to be difficult without a Sove, without a Knut. And a sad looking spot. With a Canute, you could try to match all these points from Takikiraly with your own self-wound shenanigans, but as it stands, the Sigvald and Draco Turtle aren't achieving awfully much, either of them. This Canute's base just going to play for a glorified 10-point body. And yeah, there's not much happening right now on Lerio's side of the board. It looks like the engine has just come to a screeching halt. It's right up the hill. The hill is looking a little too tall. But that hill is going to continue to grow taller and taller as this cleaver is going to spawn more shielded units. That's even worse for the Svalbard. Full leader used up for Takikiraly. Maybe just looking to get the tempo pass through here. And if you're able to even just clog the front row, you could force out or stop the opportunity of a Sove being able to catch up with a Elder Bear summon. Modern Sigvald, decent value, but now since the bleeding's going through, that damage isn't getting nullified that effectively just yet. But it does set up a bigger value clash, and this is the thing that potentially, the taller this Fallen Knight goes for Takikiraly, it makes the clash for Lerio better and better, because any extra bleeding just turns into value when you click the Sigvald to kill an allied unit. And just setting up a 1-power allied unit for the Sigvald to kill, potentially. But I don't know if it's gonna be a 50-point swing. Oh no. Like right now it's probably playing in the region of 30 points. If there was a Canute, it would be insane. But there's no Canute access. And what was that was killed? Sausage Maker. Okay, so you see the click, trying to get rid of some of the carryover. Here comes the Svalbard, doing a decent job. And able to get in front. Okay, nicely done. Okay, that was well played from Lerio, but the question is now, does Takikiraly want to push? You want to commit bank. You don't need to commit much to get ahead. But the question is, are you going to get ahead enough that this all geared wouldn't be enough? Because if you're down a card in a short round against patch title leader and serve, that's not looking great. And I worry that even if, like, with Hemelfight into Count Rufin's treasure, you're gonna be missing enough profit, enough time to get value out of those cards. It is gonna be the bank committed. What are we gonna see? Nothing that's gonna really push the envelope awfully much here. It's gonna go for the top deck. It's a crime. I guess you can play the failed experiment. With Naturalist. Okay. Never mind, we're gonna push further here. Okay, this is, I think, definitely correct. So now 2 leaders will be enough to get a serve at 6 damage. Additionally, that lets the Svalbard get a spawn, which means that it will be the card advantage and a little bit of leader advantage here for Lerio on short round. Bank spent means that is the consistency tool one. There are some really good cards in deck here for Takikiraly. You have Hamilfar, you have Boston Jr., you have Count Ruehin's Treasure. All of these are pretty damn good in a short round. Lerio has... okay, really doesn't want to find the Squirrel here. And you take both mulligans here no matter what, I think. Okay, finds the Canoe. Will we find the Sigdreef is right? I think you have to take the mulligan. And finds it. Okay, we have a proper round 3 on our hands. We have a proper round 3, everybody. Hold on to your hats. Don't let them fly off. Because Lerio's cooking up a bit of a storm here. We got a Sigvald coming back. Gonna pair nicely with this Martyr and Knut and a little bit of totem value.
Yes, you! Have you made your offer?
No thought to begin with for Takikiraly's Tempest here. Only a Fallen Knight is the first unit brought back.
Death holds no surprises.
Just gonna be an old gear played out. Not wanting to get any of the bleeding ticking on the Sigvalds prematurely here. This communication, a nice little prime prop. Finds the Count Ruehin's Treasure. However, it is barely enough coinage. It is barely enough coins to get a 4 provision crime. Finds the Congregation, which is amazing with both of these Fallen Knights. Does the trick very, very nicely. But look at this! Look at this! Lerio only has 2 units on board and both of them are not damageable for the Horseman Jr. Just going to have to go into the old gear. Basically play for 5 points for the Horseman Jr. here. And I think the Knut Sigvald is going to be just enough here to do the trick. More than just enough, it's not even close, doesn't even need the leader. Congratulations to Lerio, wins in a nail-biting round 3 there. Secures the series, avoids the reverse sweep, and manages to stay alive in the tournament as a result. Going to be going through into the final to face off against either Myaman or TGX. That was some great Gwent. That was some great Gwent, everybody.